I woke up after having a nostalgic dream, and I've been thinking it's so hard not to get distracted by things from the outside in this computer to talk about what I'm trying to talk about. Um, um, I don't know. Maybe it's like there's certain realizations I can have about life. That I'm not sure can be shared. And I know I'm like, especially because the camera's on or the microphone's on, or I'm aware that there could be an audience at some point. There's a crafting of authenticity, and it becomes more about commenting on that than talking about what I actually think. I had a dream that included some pop songs from the 90s, and I was thinking about what it was like to grow up when I did. And where I did and with who. And I think I had some good memories from childhood, walking alone in South Milwaukee and laughing with friends and shit, and drinking soda. I remember like playing video games and drinking soda all night long. And I remember like blasting the air conditioner. But then looking at my history with some of the things that I know or suspect now about how media is used to change people's behavior, I feel like from my perspective, the baby boomer generation grew up and was still like within this American system. And by my generation, at least like for me, from about 2004, when I was like 14 or 15, right before I started recording Manifest Lexicon, there was shift in my understanding of what was going on, and the kind of patriotism that I grew up with started really being put into question. And coming to terms with especially America's involvement in Iraq and claiming that there were weapons of mass destruction when there were not, and the kind of world consequences that came from that. The it seemed like the bubble that I grew up in of like pride and simplicity and patriotism, it was like it never it never adjusted to the truth, or what I saw as being the truth. And I guess eventually what America had to admit was the truth, which was that what 300 million plus people within the country were led to believe by their own government something entirely untrue. So the government or the people within could do whatever they wanted to do. I don't see the world as any different now. Like that was the lesson I learned growing up. And I think that's still going on, and I don't understand why baby boomers, probably a lot of people in general, but like baby boomers the most. I don't understand why they believe what they're told when everything else, when all of it is like falling down around them, and everything that they care about is being taken from them. They still believe. So I don't know. I don't live in the same bubble I did when I was a kid, like before 14. I was brought up to believe things and do things. And now when I go out in the world and do them, I realize that they're bad. And they kind of like, if I follow the standards I was brought up with, they don't have positive results. And if I go back, those things haven't been changed. So it's like I can go back and say like, hey, everything you gave me is busted and broken. And then there's denial. There's there's no acknowledgement of that, because that's still being held on to, that all these broken things are actually good. So I feel like in the middle. I was just thinking about um, like I have a really uneasy sense of identity, or I don't, like, I've had moments in my life where I look into the mirror. I remember looking into the mirror as like maybe 10 years old or something like that, and just going like, who is that person? So I remember, and I think I have tape of this from when I was like 4 or 5, recording my voice into a tape recorder and not thinking it was me, hearing the playback and understanding that there was a difference between like self perception from here and then a reflection mirrored back to you. So I do have narcissistic traits, um, and have at times really thought that the term narcissist works well for me. But narcissist is a character who looks into his reflection, falls in love with it. And sometimes I like the way I look, but who is the character that looks into a reflection and doesn't know who it is time and again? And is a reflection really a reflection as we think about it? You know, because like you can look into the water and there's like little ripples going past and it distorts what you're looking at. And I remember like on the tape at 4 or 5 years old, recording my voice and then hearing it back. The technology is not very accurate, which leads me to believe that even the things we think of as high def today are still not very high def in terms of reflection. They don't give real self awareness. And if we're adjusting to technology, like if we're looking at a webcam image of ourselves or something, it's still not very high definition who we are. It'll show the outside, and the outside with limitations that are always trying to get up to being as good as eyesight. But the experience of not looking into a reflection and falling in love with what you see, but looking into a reflection and not knowing who it is. Like you understand that there's like a consciousness and some kind of consciousness reflected if you look into a mirror. But the rest of it, like the image that I happened to have at the time, I don't know. There's like some kind of judgment system that's very high in me. And I remember in 2000, either 2009 or 2010. I would have been about, let's see how old, around 20 years old. Um, I was hanging out with some East Asian friends, Chinese, Taiwanese, Lao, Indonesian, and maybe Korean. Um, some friends from college, and I remember hanging out with them for a long time, and the kind of adjustments that are made, like whatever mind melding was going on. And we were hanging out at a mall in Chicago, I believe. And then I went into the bathroom and looked into the mirror and saw this blonde creature with these, I don't want to say hideous, but like so alien and weird blue eyes. And it was like, what is that? So there's some kind of merging that happens in me that doesn't take very long. So when I was with my Asian friends who are all, um, that yellow skin, um, and brown hair and brown eyes, and their kind of features, though varied. Um, just the experience of of not not identifying with the body, maybe. Um, like I don't know what this thing is, and this thing, I don't know what I'm trying to get at with these different topics, but the ability to merge into outside groups or outside perspectives, and then looking back and trying to give an account of what it was like, or what I see something as from the outside, and now feeling like I experienced total rejection. But from my family, I always felt outsider, or different, or I didn't understand what was going on. Um, like I did a lot of their bidding and was not really rewarded or seen for who I was. But I don't even know if I see me for who I am. So, but at this point, I'm scared to say things like that around family members, because I think they're quite carnivorous and cannibalistic when it comes to defending their group identity, or something. I've seen my family scapegoat people that had to get away from them for whatever reason, and it was just like, that person went crazy. We don't get it. And now I feel like I got to be in that role, because I know that role exists, and I experience my family as having high cognitive dissonance, some kind of like belief systems that they just cannot amend in any way, even to deal with each other, which is ultimately the thing that broke me up inside. So I don't know. Like, if my family is anything like me, they're fucked up. I don't know how to talk to them about anything that's very meaningful. And now I'm kind of seeing this. It's like, well, I'm glad America is totally falling down, because maybe then people will stop doing the dumb shit that they've been doing forever, just to ignore the feelings inside of them, or just to ignore the reflection of looking in the mirror and going, what is this? What do others see when they look in the mirror and look into their own eyes, or like look into their own consciousness? I was feeling sad when I woke up, because I felt like I'd lost something. I think I often wake up sad or anxious these days. Something is off, something is wrong. And it's like I feel pressured by my family to still be like them and act like them in what they did to have success in a world that does not exist anymore. And from my perspective, since I was younger, it was totally fucking obvious that it wasn't going to last. So I'm really mad at my family, and the adjustments that they will have to make to even speak to me again are immense. And I can't do those for them. I can't do the work for them. I can't take on that kind of responsibility because I already did. I did that for a long time. I did what they wanted and brought it back to them. And it didn't make my own life. It made their life, and it extended their own, whatever the fuck they were doing. And good for them. They made a lot of money. I hope they're fucking happy with that shit.